Hello, good morning. It's 10 o'clock Central European Time. Welcome everyone and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. I'm Maura Sinico, Regional Marketing Communication Manager for Central and Southern Europe of ABB Energy Industries. And today I have the pleasure to moderate this session related to ABB Cellier Formulation and Blending Optimization. Just a little housekeeping before we get started with our tech talk. We have taken a screenshot here of an example of the attendee interface. You should see something that looks like this on your own computer desktop. The control panel hides automatically when not in use. You can move your cursor to bring it back. The webinar is scheduled to take approximately 1 hour with a live Q&A session at the end. You are encouraged to submit all your text questions during the full session. We will collect all of them and address at the end of the presentation during the live session. A reminder that all attendees are on mute and today's presentation will be recorded and will be provided to you in the next couple of days. The information in this document is subject to change without any notice and should not be construed as a commitment by ABB. ABB assumes no responsibility for any error that may appear in this document. And now I'm honored to introduce to you today's expert. We have on this virtual stage with me that we have Samuel Dessolin, Head of Operations, Cellier Formulation and Blending, and Nicolas Durand, Head of Sales, Cellier Formulation and Blending. And they will cover Cellier Blending and Formulation, modern engineering and future-proof technology for lubricant, greases, paints, resins, and specialty chemical manufacturing units. So last but not least, before we get started, just a reminder of safety. Safety is always our first priority, so wherever you are, please be always aware of your surroundings and obey to your local safety regulations. And especially in this time of Corona, stay on distance to stay healthy. And with that, I hand over to Nicolas to start officially our Tech Talk.
Thank you, Maura, and thank you, first of all, thank you to all participants of this TED Talk. Before introducing this formulation and blending TED Talk, I would like to introduce very briefly ABB Energy Industries, as we are part of this division. ABB Energy Industries has the mission to support you in safe, smart, and sustainable operations through solutions that digitalize, automate, and electrify industries. We are in charge of 4 domains, I would say: oil and gas and chemicals, conventional power, alternative energy, and water infrastructure. And on these markets, we support our customer on an offering portfolio which is quite wide and that we will describe in more details on the next slide. So for this market, we can propose and support our customer on integrated systems and solutions. So you probably know our capabilities in terms of electrification, control, telecom, and digital. But we are also a leader in control system, in automation control system, where we can propose different kind of solutions according to your process and according to your market. We can support our customer whatever their typology, I would say, end users, EPC, but also through different channel partners that has been identified according to the different markets. In addition, with this integrated system and solutions, we also have some very specific capabilities in industry specialty products. For example, excitation, EAUs, subsea, and control room, and of course, blending and formulation that we will describe in more details in the coming tech talk. If we introduce now the Cellier Blending and Formulation solutions, we are part of the ABB organization since about 20 years, but we have 60 years of experience in this kind of business. And since that time, we provide expertise, proprietary technologies, and our experience to design, engineer, assemble, and commission complete solution and process control system. Our solutions can be provided as standalone units, but also as complete integrated system in the market of lubricant and grease, paint and coatings, specialty paper, and chemical industries.
Hi everyone, and thanks again for joining this Tech Talk. So today we will go through the journey of presenting the ABB offering around this blending and formulation expertise. So here we have summarized the different topics that we will address. So you can see in the middle, it's a schematic of a typical blending and formulation process plant. So basically from the reception of the raw material, the heart of the plant with the blending and mixing, up to the delivery of the finished products and export in filling lines or truck loading also. And the value chain around those processes of ABB is what you see around on this line, from our expertise in designing, engineering those plants. As mentioned by Nicola, our proprietary equipment, so the in-house technologies that we can deliver to you. Of course, the heart of the plant is this process knowledge that we have with our engineers, batch or inline processes. And here we are capable of providing you with our own in-house solutions, but also we listen to our customers, to their process engineers or their licenses, their own licenses, so that we cope with your needs, we integrate your specificities, and we can deliver a full solution. We'll touch base also on the after-sales service, which is important in the life cycle management of your industrial asset. And of course, we provide fully automated and instrumented plants to have an overall control on your process. We'll touch base also on our digital module called ABB Ability Plant Performance Optimization. So let's say, to summarize, with all those capabilities of engineering, equipment, and control system, we provide performances, and we cope and we are engaged to those performances in our contractual setup with our customer. And we demonstrate those at the end of a project delivery.
On this slide, I won't spend too much on this slide, but the idea there was just to show you some examples of the many references that we have worldwide. So as you can see, we have more than 1,200 units built worldwide, and in the different markets that we serve. So you have there some example of the customers with whom we have worked and the market on which we have been involved. What is important there, as you can see, is that we are globals. It means that we can support you, whatever the localization of your plant or your project.
Okay, so to continue the journey today, we will first touch base our engineering capabilities. So basically, we are here to support you all along your project life cycle. And it's particularly true in the early engagement phase that we mentioned here. So whenever you have a decision on an investment to be done, whether a brownfield or a greenfield project, we can be your partner from the beginning, for example, at the conceptual design phase or at the feed or basic engineering phase, to address with you your technical or financial challenges. For example, identifying the risks, defining an overall project schedule, working on the different technologies that we can provide or we can select with your teams. And also on the financial aspects, define the return on investments or phasing your project in different steps so that you get the best out of your investment. Then in project execution, of course, during this phase, we provide our detail engineering for the own equipment that we supply, but also for the rest of your plant, particularly in partnership with your other vendors or your EPC contractor, to ensure a smooth collaboration and a smooth project execution. We also have some competencies to be your partner for the certification processes, for example, in different countries, in Europe for the CE marking, or in the US, or in Russia, or China, or Korea. We provide you all the documents that are necessary for you to get the authorities' approval. And then we are also keen on applying the local standards. So either thanks to our ABB local representation, or also, and we see on the right-hand side with the EPC or the local subcontractor, we adapt our design to the local norms and regulation. And we also integrate as a team together with our end customer and the EPCs for the implementation of the project schedule. So now we'll go more in detail into our engineering approach. So basically, all our solutions are usually skid mounted or even modular solutions. So here is an example of what we do for a brownfield project. So on the right-hand side, you see that we've done a 3D laser scaling to recover the existing environment. Then we develop our new equipment into our 3D model software. And then we can then consolidate the two. So on the right-hand side, the green and red parts are the new equipment that are included in the existing environment. So that we can run also 3D model reviews together with your team, with your maintenance people or your operating team. We can even use virtual reality lens so that your people can navigate into the model and then make some comments or adjust the design. This is done before, for sure, starting the manufacturing of the skid. So it's a good way to control the design and be sure that it will fit for purpose on your existing facility. We have also in France, in our center of expertise, a workshop, a facility in which we can manufacture some equipment. So here, the idea is to be in the innovation and R&D field to promote and to propose you very high quality technical solutions. So having the engineering office sitting next to the workshop is a better way for us to integrate and to develop our innovations. We also have a testing facility. So that's particularly dedicated to improve or fine-tune our products, also to make or run some tests to define our performances, the one that we will cope with in our contractual engagement. And of course, in execution, when we manufacture an equipment in our workshop, we can run some FAT, so factory acceptance test, together with the customer representative in a totally safe manner. So here on the picture, it's a drum decanting unit. We will see a focus afterwards, but we run some tests of such kind of machines in our own facility in France. So to continue again in our engineering capabilities, these skidded or modular solutions are pre-tested in the workshop. So again, on the right-hand side, it's a modular grease manufacturing plant that we develop in our 3D platform software with all the components. You can see the steel structure, the vessels, the process equipment like the pumps or the filters, and of course the layout of all the piping, cabling, and everything. So that's the 3D model, the virtual one. And on the left-hand side, it's an actual plant that we have delivered. It's a fully modular lubricant plant. So here it's final stage in our subcontractor workshop. So again, it's all included with the pipes, with the instruments, cabled and wired, even with the electrical cabinets, the MCC of the VFDs. So it's a way for the customer also to do an acceptance test in the workshop, to test the I/O, to test the on-off and the motor rotations. And then afterwards, this is disassembled and packaged and shipped to site in containers. So easy to transport also, and then reassemble at site with your EPC or local subcontractor under the supervision of the ABB team. So it's a way also for you to construct safely and with a limitation of risks at site. So after the construction of the skids, for the site activities, we have a focus here with two pictures. We mobilize some supervisors at site. So again, we have a team of people with the experts located in our Center of Excellence in France, but also with the local team, with the local ABB, so that we can deploy our manpower during the construction phase at the critical stages and be your partner. So both to supervise the installation of our own equipment, but also to give you some advices and some added value for the overall construction, having some checklist or checking the quality or the timeline, or even raising some punch lists so that you and your EPC contractor can smoothly construct your own facility. Then on the right-hand side, for the commissioning and site activities, we delegate our people to ensure a smooth startup. It's also a way for you to get your people trained on the field, hands-on the equipment and the control system. So that's for the engineering capabilities. Here we have captured with this slide also the overall project management capabilities that we have and that we put in place for many years, and that we have accelerated now with more and more modern ways of working. So here is just to summarize let's say, the traditional way of project execution with really phases that are sequential, the design, the execution, and the operations. Now we have captured the best of the Cellier know-how and the ABB competencies to run this ABB adaptive execution. So it's basically based on some collaboration up front, I would say, during the design phase between the different ABB teams in the local country with the French experts. Also together with you or your EPC by organizing some key milestones during the project execution, like the hazard reports or hazard reviews, like the 3D reviews that we can now also run virtually, no need to meet all together in the same place. And it's even more important with the travel restrictions that we have right now. The digital aspects is also for example, for our control system. Again, we can run FAT, we call so remote FAT. We have also a simulation mode so that we can test our control system with a simulator of what's the process and how the plant will react at site. And for sure, the modular and the skidded type of construction that we propose is a key advantage for you for your site activities. So now that we have dedicated some time to the engineering and project management, we want to focus on our offering. What project, what product, what solution, what can we offer? So here, in a nutshell, we have some few pictures of key equipment. We will have also dedicated slides on some of them, but this is all the portfolio of product that ABB can offer. Some of them, or all of them, can be sold, let's say, as standalone product that you can integrate in your existing facility when you have a bottleneck or a specific point that you want to improve. These machines are standalone and can be integrated. Or for sure, they can be part of a full new greenfield plant, whereby you accumulate, depending on your portfolio or your capacities, all the different equipment that we can put together. So basically, from the top left-hand side, the blending equipments, either in batch or in line. Then the drum decanting system, we will have a dedicated slide on this one. The right-hand side top picture is the VI improving dissolving unit. So it's also a machine to dissolve VI improver that are in blocks, in solid blocks. This is a semi-finished product that enters into the recipe of the lubricants. So dedicated machine for this application. On the bottom left-hand side, we see the piggable lines or piggable manifold. We will have also a dedicated slide on this one. But basically, the piggable manifold is really a matrix connecting incoming lines to outgoing lines with piston valves. For the grease application, we also have developed a grease reactor of our own design and fabrication. And we can integrate this one into a fully modular grease manufacturing unit. And then on the right-hand side, we have those control systems, or these MES, manufacturing execution systems. We have developed a specific human machine interface and graphics and way of conducting your processes for these batch and inline processes. So we have different products depending if it's for lubricants, for paints or resins. And then on the last one, we will have a focus also on the plant performance optimization. So now just to give you an overview of a typical landscape of a lubricant plant. So basically where you find the ABB technologies, we focused on some key areas. So the storage tank with our agitation or steering technologies. Of course, number two, the heart of the plant, the blending equipment. We have a number three, this drum decanting system to empty raw materials in drum, those very accurately. And then, of course, the piggable lines for the liquid transfer from the different areas of your plant. Same for a typical paints or coating plants. This is a typical landscape where you can find the ABB blending and formulation technologies in those areas. First, and for the paints industry, it's typical to handle and transfer some powder. So we have some integration capabilities with the powder management. Again, the liquid transfer from the raw material to the process part by piggable lines. On number 3, it's the dispersing units to mix basically the powder and the liquid together. And finally, for the paint fabrication, number 4, the liquid-liquid mixing. All those plants for sure are controlled by our dedicated control system. So here, a 3D animated view of a typical blender. So on the bottom part, you have the main 20-ton blender, and on top one is the premix dosing kettle. So basically, we dose the raw materials one after the other. They are weighted on weighing cells, and then we add on the raw materials, so the base oil number 1, base oil number 2, and so on. And on top, on the small kettle, the additive is dosed also in parallel. So it's a way to optimize the batch duration. So now the small kettle is emptied in the big one. We continue stirring and warming up the mix altogether to achieve the end finished product specificities. And then here we see the final dosing through the drum decanting system that will add on the last additive into the recipe. Once the product is on spec, we can test it with the lab testing. The product is then sent out to the finished products. So this is a typical application of our batch blenders. And then, of course, at the end of the batch, we rinse the kettles, and this rinsing oil goes into the recipe, so there's no loss of raw material or no loss of product, and it's a way to minimize the contamination with the future batch. So that was an overview of all our ongoing technologies. Now we wanted to make a focus on specific ones, and as an introduction slide, we are here as a partner because we face the same challenges as you. You have a portfolio of products that are widening, so with high runners products, with also very small batches that you have to produce. So here we want to cope with those requirements with very productive or very flexible industrial assets. So part of those latest technologies, for example, we talked about it earlier, is the drum decanting unit. So you see on the left-hand side an animated video, but really this machine is dosing with a very accurate dosing capacity some raw materials. Usually those additives are very kind of expensive materials. So it's dosing and it's rinsing so that we optimize the utilization of this raw material. Of course, again, the rinsing oil is part of the recipe, so you don't lose any raw material. And here, this new machine has a very high pumping capacity. With this new machine, we can go up to 20 centistokes. So it's a machine that is applicable in different sectors. Again, the lubricants or the grease application, but also the specialty chemicals. And here we can supply this machine also as a standalone unit. The second technology we wanted to focus on are related to the pigging technology. Indeed, we have this portfolio of products, some valves and the piggable lines to cope with some of the challenges you have in your process plants. Basically, with those piggable lines, we help you out in decreasing your capex on the dedicated pipelines. For example, from the raw material tank farm to the key blending equipment. With piggable lines, we reduce the footprint of your piping, of your pipe rack, so basically of the cost of your capex. Then, of course, these piggable lines have these cleaning possibilities. So it's optimizing the use of your raw material or finished products into your lines to limit the loss of materials. With the cleaning sequence, it's a way of optimizing your production, and also with a minimum of maintenance costs on such equipment. And ultimately, all this gain in raw materials or finished products, limitation of the slopes or the rinsing oil, it has an actual impact on for the environment to help you reduce your footprint. So I'm done with the different technologies, hardware. I let it go with Nicolas for the software technologies.
Thank you, Samuel. Yeah, the last solution we wanted to introduce in detail during this talk is called the Plant Process Optimization, or PPO. The PPO is in fact our digital solution to monitor and contribute to the optimization of your production units. It's a web-based application which is used to give you visibility on your production units. It means that you first have a consolidation of all the production data which are available on your plant or coming from different plants, because this is also a tool which has multi-site functionality. This data can come from different DCS, PLCs, or field instruments, or even ERPs. And then we offer to analyze and give you visibility on these data through different dashboards or different KPIs that help you to understand more in depth the production or the quality of the production of your unit. This PPO is based on different modules. It means that depending on the functionalities in which you are interested, you can start with some modules and then add other ones if necessary. You see a presentation on these different modules in the red square on this slide. So for example, process improvement or cost reducing, flight panel services, and so on. So the main objective, I would say, or the main advantage of this solution, as I said, is to offer better visibility on your facilities and also to organize the information which is normally available on the site, but organize this on relevant dashboard and relevant indicators so that you can take decisions and improve availability or efficiency of your production units. On the next slide, we have just shown a few examples of the dashboard or KPIs which are available on the PPO. So on the first part, you can see access to the dashboard where we have a real real-time data available in order, for example, to have a better follow-up of the operation in progress, or for example, to compare the situation between estimated and real-time batch time. On the middle, you have another type of dashboard where you have access to archive data so that you can, for example, later on troubleshoot your production or try to optimize it. And on the right part of the slide, you have more advanced dashboards where we provide some KPIs, for example, OEE, overall equipment effectiveness, but you could have also MTBF for failure in time, FIT, and so on. Several KPIs are available according to your request. Then, of course, we have talked a lot about products and solutions, but we know that our mission is also to be your partner during the entire life cycle of your units. And our mission is also to guarantee that your operation will be safe, secure, reliable, and at highest performance. And to do so, we are able to propose a complete portfolio of services. And these services can be proposed as standalone services, or through different service agreement that we can propose at different level, depending of your needs, in fact. The idea, of course, with these service agreements, it will give you a better visibility on your life cycle cost and extend the life of your assets. On this, I won't go through all these services, but you can find some quite standard services, I would say. So, for example, technical support or spare part management. But for sure, we are also able to provide more advanced services like cybersecurity or remote services, which are so important in this strange period of time. We are also able to propose diagnostic of the existing installation or process audits if it's necessary or required. So, in conclusion, we have organized or summarized main benefits of the ABB blending and formulation solutions that we have described today, and organized them around 4 main challenges that we think that you faced in your everyday life. So, Once again, I won't go through this entire list, but maybe just highlight some of them. For example, in productivity and quality, you have seen this in the presentation which has done in Samuel with the drum decanting unit with repeatable dosing accuracy or zero cross-contamination with the peeling solution that we can propose. Also with the PPO, and the visibility we give on your process, it can be used to reduce the production cycle times. And for that's the same thing for the other pillars, I would say, or challenges that are listed there: flexibility and process optimization, safety and environment, and reliability and low maintenance. If you need more details, or if you have some questions around this blending and formulation solution that we introduced today, you can, of course, visit our webpage. You have the address at the right side of this slide. You can also, of course, send a mail to Samuel or myself, or use a generic address, info.cellier. You can also contact your ABB Energy Industries representative, as our division is present worldwide in more than 50 countries. And this representative will put you in contact with the area manager who is in charge of your region, of your market. Thank you.
Thank you to our expert, Nicolas Samuel, for the great